Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today, we're diving into the world of vacuum leaks, those pesky little problems that can cause big headaches for your car. In this video, we'll be exploring the 3 C's of vacuum leaks: causes, symptoms, and solutions. We'll start by looking at the most common culprits behind these leaks, from cracked hoses to faulty gaskets. Then, we'll delve into the telltale signs that your car might be suffering from a vacuum leak, like rough idling and decreased fuel efficiency. Finally, we'll equip you with the knowledge and tools to tackle these leaks head-on, whether it's a simple DIY fix or a trip to the mechanic. So, buckle up and get ready to learn everything you need to know about vacuum leaks. The control motor warning light is one of the most common signs of a vacuum leak. This light is illuminated when the engine control unit, ECU, detects a problem with the engine's emissions system. A vacuum leak can cause the engine to run too lean, which can lead to increased emissions. A vacuum leak can also cause the engine to run rough or stall. This is because the engine is not getting enough air to run properly. The engine may also stall when you come to a stop or when you are idling. A vacuum leak can also cause the engine to idle at the wrong speed. The engine may idle too high or too low. This is because the engine is not getting the correct amount of air to idle properly. A vacuum leak can also cause a whistling or hissing noise. This noise is caused by the air leaking out of the vacuum hose. The noise may be more noticeable when the engine is idling or when you are accelerating. In addition to the most common signs, there are a few other symptoms that may indicate a vacuum leak. These symptoms include poor fuel economy, reduced engine power, black smoke from the exhaust, difficulty starting the engine. There are a few different things that can cause a vacuum leak. These include damaged or cracked vacuum hoses, loose vacuum hose connections, a faulty vacuum check valve, a damaged intake manifold gasket. If you suspect that your car has a vacuum leak, you should take it to a mechanic to have it diagnosed and repaired. The mechanic will be able to identify the source of the leak and fix it. A vacuum leak can cause a variety of problems with your car's engine. If you suspect that your car has a vacuum leak, you should take it to a mechanic to have it diagnosed and repaired. Vacuum leaks can be caused by a variety of factors, including damaged or loose hoses. This is the most common cause of vacuum leaks. Hoses can become brittle and crack over time, or they can come loose due to vibration or wear. Damaged intake manifold gaskets. The intake manifold gasket seals the intake manifold to the engine block. If this gasket is damaged, it can allow air to leak into the engine. Damaged or loose vacuum lines. Vacuum lines are small, flexible tubes that connect various components in the engine. If these lines are damaged or loose, they can allow air to leak into the engine. Damaged or loose PCV valve. The PCV valve helps to control the flow of crankcase vapors into the engine. If this valve is damaged or loose, it can allow air to leak into the engine. Damaged or loose EGR valve. The EGR valve helps to reduce emissions by recirculating exhaust gases back into the engine. If this valve is damaged or loose, it can allow air to leak into the engine. It is not recommended to drive with a vacuum leak. A vacuum leak can cause a variety of problems, including rough idle. A vacuum leak can cause the engine to idle rough or stall. Loss of power. A vacuum leak can cause the engine to lose power. Increased emissions. A vacuum leak can cause the engine to emit more pollutants. Damage to the engine. A severe vacuum leak can damage the engine. If you suspect that your car has a vacuum leak, you should take it to a mechanic to have it repaired. A mechanic can use a variety of methods to diagnose and repair a vacuum leak, including: the first step is to determine if your car actually has a vacuum leak. This can be done by listening for a hissing sound coming from the engine compartment. You can also use a smoke machine to introduce smoke into the intake system and look for leaks. Once you have determined that your car has a vacuum leak, the next step is to locate the source of the leak. This can be done by visually inspecting the hoses, gaskets, and vacuum lines. You can also use a stethoscope to listen for leaks. Once you have located the source of the leak, the next step is to replace the defective component. This may involve replacing a hose, gasket, or vacuum line. In some cases, it may be necessary to replace the entire intake manifold. The cost of repairing a vacuum leak can vary depending on the severity of the leak and the location of the leak. In general, however, vacuum leaks are relatively inexpensive to repair. The cost of parts is typically low, and the labor involved is usually minimal.